A man falls out of an airplane to his death, the end of the iconic yellow Spirit brand, and Airventure is over on this episode of Taking Off. Hi, I'm Dan Milliken, and I am exhausted. A week of Airventure is over, and while we got some incredible footage and interviews, I had alternator troubles coming back in my 210. But more on Airventure in a moment. This is brought to you by Colton Mortgage, TakingOff.com for your residential and refi mortgage needs, and Flying Eyes at FlyingEyesOptics.com. Code TakingOff for 10% off. And by Marshall Protective Services. Okay, lots going on. Let's get to it. The breaking news is a man falls to his death from a plane. This story is rapidly developing, and at the outset, it's really bizarre. What we know, a twin-engine cargo plane that took off with 2 pilots emergency landed with only 1 pilot at Raleigh-Durham. The plane is a Casa 212 Aviocar made in Spain. The twin-engine turboprop plane is a medium cargo aircraft used all over the world. It was first developed in the 70s by the Spanish Air Force, and I'm told by somebody who's been on them that it has a large rear cargo door. I'm not sure about the other door and window placements. After taking off from Rayford West Airport, the pilots informed air traffic control that the right main wheel had fallen off. It appears that they circled Rayford and reported a hard landing there where they lost the right main. That's all confusing right now because I don't know why they would be circling and then did that. I don't know. But I'm sure it'll be cleaned up in the next few hours or days. But regardless, the flight crew said they were going to try and land at Raleigh-Durham. Communications revealed that they had 4 hours of fuel on board and that their plan was just to land on the belly and hope for the best at Raleigh-Durham. Then during a radio call, one pilot reports that the other pilot had jumped from the airplane without a parachute. The airplane then landed at Raleigh-Durham and slid off into the grass without that right main. The pilot was taken to the hospital, but he's reported fine. The pilot that jumped, or as reported on most news stories, fell from approximately 3,500 feet, was found dead close to a residential home. We will find out what happened soon enough, but all in all, this is a really bizarre situation. And when we find out more, we'll do an update and let you guys know. There has been a battle among 2 airlines trying to take over Spirit. Frontier and JetBlue fought hard to acquire the low-cost carrier, and JetBlue won. So yes, Spirit will disappear and become JetBlue airplanes and routes. This is an end to Spirit, which began as a Michigan trucking company a long time ago. And I, for one, I'm okay with this, because while Spirit was a great low-cost option for those that checked the right boxes, that wasn't me, where I travel with tons of video gear and such. It costs more to fly on Spirit than America or Delta. Now, for those who are pilots and crew, they like Spirit, and that's fine. Now, this acquisition is reported to be about $3.8 billion. As I've researched this at Airventure, I talked to one high-level insider who said that JetBlue has an executive whose career has always been about mergers and acquisitions. Regardless, after Frontier and Spirit announced their agreement back in the spring for merging the two, JetBlue made aggressive moves, and it's interesting to see how they position JetBlue now to become really a rival to the legacy airlines. So no more yellow airplanes out there. Okay, Airventure's 2022 is in the books. We don't have the official numbers yet, but early on indications show that there were nearly 750,000 people that attended. Over 12,000 airplanes fly in. There was a lot of, eVTOL talk, but really only one company with multiple flying prototypes. So it's been a lot of talk, but Black Fly was the one. Christy and I were able to interview quite a few people, and we'll be releasing those over the upcoming weeks, including Juan Brown of Blanco Lirio, Mike and Chandra Patey, Kevin LaRosa, who was the stunt pilot for all the Top Gun Maverick stuff, the air-to-air stuff. For me, it was a tough ending to the week as I had an alternator, low voltage indicator at night over Lubbock, Texas. And being the weekend, the FBO Lubbock Aero has a weekend call-out fee and then the higher rates for the work on the weekend. The mechanic that came out was extremely new and nice, but he took several hours of looking up manuals and online support, as well as phone calls to my own mechanic and his higher-ups to just test the alternator with his multimeter. I had an extra alternator belt, so that install was pretty quick and easy, but by the mid-afternoon, the alternator had been tested and the new belt put on, but a ground run still showed low voltage. When I first called them, my biggest concern was that the mechanic had asked if we would have to remove the prop to get to the alternator on my 210. No, this isn't a Lycoming engine. My confidence took a little bit of a hit there. He's a super nice guy. I've not gotten the bill yet from Lubbock Aero, but I'll report to you whether they, treat me fairly or not. I'm okay paying time and a half and all that, but if they bill me for the new mechanic having to do internet searches for hours and calling a bunch of people for pretty standard procedures on a pretty standard aircraft, I want to see if they take all that into account. Either way, zero or hero for Lubbock Aero, I'll let you guys know. Their front desk person was super nice and helpful, so we'll see. That's it. I've got all my camera and support gear on the Flying Eyes truck heading back. So I'm powering this news rant out in my backyard with Chewy on my iPhone. Please do consider using our sponsors. They're great and they're all pilots. FlyingEyesOptics.com. Use that Taking Off code. Colton Mortgage, ColtonTakingOff.com for that residential mortgage. And Marshall Protective Services, MPS Protects. As always, stay safe out there. Don't jump out of any planes without a parachute. And remember, superior judgment trumps superior skills. We'll talk to you real soon as we got a whole bunch more AirVenture videos coming your way.